My friends, well, you might say they're a little different. We know how to have a good time, sure, but together, what we get is beyond just that. Los Linderos is the tequila that fits, that works for those times we have. The times that take fun and friendship and go beyond. Give it a try. Los Linderos Tequila. I keep an eye out for that sculpted bottle. It's as beautiful on the outside as on the inside. Kinda like my friends. Los Linderos Tequila. When it's time to go beyond.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app. Extra 106.3 and a Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Back Your Blue highlights special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Join a Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Matalon and host Tug Coward to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Now it's time to back your blue on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Coward, along with Daniel Matalon of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring. What's up, man? How are you?
Doing well.
Doing a lot of traveling lately, I see.
Yep, just got back from Kentucky.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Was it it was a trip for your daughter and equestrian, right?
Yeah, horse show.
Yeah, big times. We're definitely...
Last big show of the year.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
you get to shut it down for a little while.
For a little bit, not long, but Winter Circuit will be next.
There you go. We have a great guest today, Sergeant Anwar Sillah. He's been a police officer since graduating from the Clayton County Regional Law Enforcement Academy in 2009. Now with the Dunwoody Police Department, gained experience at 2 Metro Atlanta Police Departments before joining Dunwoody in May of 2014. During his time in Dunwoody, he's served as a patrol officer, actively participated in community policing efforts. 2017, transitioned to community outreach and the Community Outreach Unit, overseeing programs like Neighborhood Watch, Citizen Police Academy, and the Teen Police Academy, which he founded in 2020. He was promoted to sergeant in 2021 and now supervises the night shift patrol. Despite your current role, you are dedicated to the Teen Police Academy, coordinating its annual summer program. That's been something that's near and dear to your heart, I hear.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm all for the community policing and efforts just to, bring the relationship closer between police officers and the community and teenagers is definitely
a huge part of it. Sure. We've talked, as a matter of fact, last week we had the folks from the Roswell Police Academy. Is this something that's, I guess not new, but I feel like all of a sudden we're hearing more about community police academies. Is that something that you feel like has picked up steam or has just been, it's kind of laid dormant for a little while? What's the difference? Because all of a sudden I'm hearing about them a lot more.
Yeah, it wasn't really very popular many years ago. When you think about the police officers, you just think about them coming to your car break-in, your car accidents, domestics, and then that's it. But, I would say probably when, the Rodney King situation, when there's just starting to be a lot of tension between police officers and the community, the police departments had to find a way to bridge that gap. And one of those reasons is to really just engage with community members and show them some of the behind the scenes efforts that we're doing. What do police officers do? How do you interact with police officers? And we don't want that first experience with a police officer to be on a traffic stop.
Yeah, be a negative.
Yeah, right. Exactly. A negative experience. So let's build a relationship first. And so these are just some of the programs that we're doing.
Do you care to go into, I know we're here to focus on the Teen Police Academy, and I want to get into that mostly, but talk about, if you don't mind, because Dunwoody is a relatively newer Metro Atlanta Police Department, about the Community Police Academy for adults.
Sure. DeKalb County Police Department was the primary police services for Dunwoody prior to 2009. DeKalb County obviously is a very large agency. They have a lot going on there. So a lot of the residents in Dunwoody, they called for a more localized police department that can come and, not only combat crime, but actually have a close relationship, engage with police officers and things like that. So the chief of police, when Chief Billy Grogan was the first chief of police for Dunwoody, and he really took off running with community policing efforts. And so in Dunwoody, they started having what's called the Citizens Police Academy. I'm sure some people may be familiar with it, and it really entails just inviting members of the community to come and just learn about the police department. You know, they can look around the police department, take tours. They'll have different instructors come in and tell them about, what goes on in their community, maybe some crime stats, some neighborhood watch things to help them prevent them from becoming victims of crime. And then also one thing that we've implemented in the city of Dunwoody that I thought was very beneficial is what's called a shooting simulator, which it's almost like a virtual reality type system.
Sounds a little intimidating. I don't know. I don't know that I want to be involved with the shooting simulator.
Well, actually,
I kid, but no, seriously though.
Let me just rephrase it. I would consider it more of a use of force simulator.
Sure, yeah,
because it's yes, you do have options that you could use a firearm, but the purpose of it is for officers use it for training, of course, but we want the citizens to know, how would you respond if you go to
put them in the scenario,
the same scenarios. And so what happens is the participant will go in this scenario and
it's what would you do, right?
What would you do? And there's times where someone would have a knife, they may have a gun, they may not have anything, they may just start running at you. How do you react? Do you have justification to, and then after that participant makes whatever decision they make, then we talk about it. We'll sit
no
down.
Different than you would with an officer that was presented with the same situation.
And one of our majors, Major Furman, that actually coordinates this a lot, he would actually have a lot of the class mates, the other class members, be the jury.
Oh, wow.
And then he'll ask them, hey, do y'all think that he or she's good?
Did the right thing?
Because when you think about it, you are judged by members of...
Of course. This is reality. This is what happens.
Exactly. And so you'll have some saying, oh, yeah, absolutely, they were good. And it's like, oh, no, I don't know if that's good or not.
Yeah.
And it puts them in that same type of situation that police officers go through. And then, so now the person that made that decision, they have to sit up there and think about what they did. And can you explain by law why you did what you did? And before we do that, we actually tell them the law and teach them things like that. So, yeah.
No, that's fascinating, Daniel. I think those scenarios like that, you learn so much better than just being told, here's what we do, here's why we do it. Like, I'm not saying there's no value in that, because there's incredible value in it. But when you put somebody in a situation where you have to make a split-second decision like officers do every day, and you make a good decision or a bad decision, like, you're not going to forget that scenario. You're not going to forget how you felt in that moment. Yeah. And I think that is a good way to understand what cops go through every day and why they make the decisions they do, and how they're put under just incredible scrutiny after making a decision.
Yeah, no, I think there's tremendous value in that. I mean, it's like watching a football game and you're mad at the decision that was made.
It's a great comparison
on the field, and you're like, okay, but are you the coach? Like, were you actually, and
it's easy to shout down from your ivory tower.
Right, exactly. And I think Dunwoody Police allowing them to do that, I think is great. I think it's a great idea.
Good, it's great. How many people go through that a year?
I would say right now our community outreach officer is Officer Hernandez, and she hosts about 2 or 3 sessions a year. It's a little bit different from the Teen Police Academy. The Citizens Police Academy is like a 12-week program, and they go like once a week in the evening, from like 7 to 9 after work type situations. And then they'll do that like in the the winter, maybe the summer and the fall, about 3 different sessions. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I think it's so important. I think it's such value. So going back to the Teen Police Academy, your dedication to that, you've earned a lot of awards. Congratulations to that.
Thank you.
The VFW Officer Service Award, the ASIS. Now tell me what that is, the Positive Policing Award.
Yeah, it's a local organization. It's called ASIS, and they have what's called Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and they invite just different police departments from around the metro area to recognize them for different efforts that they're doing in the community.
Did you serve in the military?
No.
But prior to? Because a lot of people do, right?
Right.
And when you start breaking out like ASIS, that because I was in the Navy. As soon as I hear words being run together, especially the initials. I'm like, oh, that sounds military. Like I recognize that immediately. But you also got the Dr. Curtis E. McClung, which is the Motorola Award of Excellence. Been recognized as a Dunwoody Police Officer of the Year in 2020. Nice work.
Yes, thank you, sir.
When you come to the ballpark, we've talked about this before. Like the Braves, they get all kinds of awards. We've seen Gold Gloves, we've seen Cy Youngs, we've seen Rookie of the Year. But oftentimes, these awards are just as they're just as important to an officer and what he does, probably for promotion, probably for the department actually being certified in particular ways. Awards are important. And I know, for an ego thing, it's not that, but it's the importance of knowing that we have officers that are doing really good work and it's being recognized.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we also encourage, every year we have what's called an annual banquet in our police department where we recognize officers for Officer of the Quarter, Officer of the Year, Rising Star Awards. Those are the officers that just started our department and they just took off running, doing what they're supposed to do and really making a positive impact in the community. And then, we have what's called a Chiefs Award. So every year we recognize officers for their efforts. And this also encourages other officers to, go out there and make a difference in the community.
In that 2020 year, when you got Officer of the Year, it was for exceptional community policing efforts, especially during COVID-19, which was chaotic for everybody. I mean, it was once in a generation type event that everybody dealt with. But you've got an associate's in criminal justice from the Georgia Military College, and is pursuing a bachelor's at Liberty University. You're doing that online? I guess it has to be. This is Virginia, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah, I'm doing it online. Liberty is a great university.
No question.
I'm enjoying it so far. Georgia Military College is also pretty
yeah, it's
good.
pretty basic, man. There's some really good schools out there. We'll get to in the final segment talking about your wife and your little girls a little bit, but here in just a minute, we'll start the second segment and talk about the Teen Police Academy. How do you get involved? What is it that you'll learn when you go to the Teen Police Academy? Just the ins and outs of the Dunwoody Teen Police Academy as we talk to Sergeant Anwar Sillah, as a guy that is dedicated to making sure that there is a great community relationship between young folks that live in Dunwoody and Metro Atlanta and the police department that he serves. We will continue next with Daniel Madelon of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring. My name is Tug Cowart. This is Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3.
This is Back Your Blue, presented by A Second Chance Bail Bonds, live on Extra 106.3 FM and streaming for free anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Cowart, along with Daniel Madelon of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring. We got Sergeant Anwar Sillah from the Dunwoody Police Department, and a guy that is so committed to his connection to the community is still involved with a teen police academy that you started at the Dunwoody Police Department. Even though you've actually moved on, this is still one of your responsibilities because you choose for it to be, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So in 2020, what birthed the Teen Police Academy was COVID-19. During COVID-19, a lot of the teenagers were, they were out of school.
Yeah.
It was something that we've never experienced before.
Generational.
Right. So adults were already dealing with, the struggles of it. And so teenagers were definitely dealing with separations from friends and, from outings. And we wanted to see how could we, first of all, get them out of their box, sitting at the house. But then on top of that, we started dealing with a lot of protests. There were a lot of, that was around the time that the George Floyd situation happened. So there was a lot of unrest, civil unrest throughout the entire nation. So now we've got COVID that's already causing people to have a lot of issues.
Anxiety, fright. They're just scared of everything that's happening, not sure of where to get your information and what was believable and what was not,
and how long this is going to last.
Sure, yeah.
There was just so much going on, and then so now we get tapped on with the protest that even Dunwoody had a little bit of that in Dunwoody as well, right in front of City Hall, And so we wanted to get ahead of that with our teenagers. We don't want to wait until there's more issues before we decide to be reactive. So we want to be proactive with our teenagers. And so I started researching, and I saw that there are some other departments around the country that were holding teen police academies. There weren't very many in Metro Atlanta. So we've already had the Citizens Police Academy that's been going for like 10 years or so at that time. And so we wanted to revamp it into a teen police academy, which is primarily focused on just teenagers. And then this is just the Citizens Police Academy is a 12-week program that they go once a week from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. But the Teen Police Academy is a 1-week program in the summer, and it's an all day, from like 8 a.m. to like 3 p.m. and they're there 5 days a week. And there's so many different activities that they can get involved with and have.
Mm-hmm. So, what age groups do y'all target when you're teens? I mean, is it 13 through 19? Is it what's the
right? It's typically 14 to 18. There's some wiggle room there if we have additional spots open. We try to limit it to about 15 students, and that's only because we do field trips that go different places. You don't want to have too many children or teenagers rather that are involved there. So we limit it to that age, but we've been able to extend it. Like there's some 19-year-olds that we've allowed to come because some of them were interested in getting into law enforcement and also joining our continuous program, which I can talk about a little bit later, which is the Public Safety Cadets program as well.
Field trips. That sounds fun to me, man. Count me in for a field trip. I've never met a kid that didn't like a good field trip.
Oh, yeah.
It was usually a day out of school and, whatever. There was always fun because you got to hang out with, the people that you like to hang out with, where you might not always be able to during the school day. So where do y'all go on field trips during the Teen Police Academy?
Okay, so yeah, we go to the 911 center. When they go to the 911 center, they sit down in a classroom setting, and they're able to hear from one of the dispatchers about what it's like to be a 911 operator. One of the goals that we have with the Teen Police Academy is not necessarily only to just have them see all the cool lights and the cool toys that we have, but we want to see where their interest levels are. Some of them have not made their decision. They're getting ready to graduate from high school. They don't know what they want to do. Mm-hmm. On that day one, we asked them, what do you want to do when you get older? We've had people that say they want to be an FBI agent. Some want to be a GBI agent. Some want to be a crime analyst or crime scene technician or police officer or detective, whatever the case might be. And so we throw all those together, and then we put them in these different programs throughout the academy. And then you can see where you can hear firsthand from these experts in these different fields and see where you're leaning to. Have
any of the teenagers that have gone through this ended up working in the field that they thought they would want to?
We've had a few of them that are, since it's only been about 4 years, we've gotten, so some of them are still teenagers,
sure.
Start from 14 to 18.
Yeah.
We do have one of our teenagers that went to it 2 years ago. She actually changed her her degree focused into criminal justice and plans to come and work at Dunwoody Police Department
That's great
when
news.
She graduates. Yeah,
I don't know what, I know a lot of agencies and municipalities around Metro Atlanta are struggling with, filling some of the positions. And I don't know where Dunwoody is, but that's got to be a great thing to be able to fill it with someone who you already have a relationship with.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really our goal. We want to see, when we get applications from the outside, these are people we have no idea who they are, and we're just, taking a chance with people. But, if we already know this person, we've seen their efforts and seen what their capabilities are. Yeah, we would love to help mold them to become a Dunwoody police officer for sure.
No doubt. Absolutely, Daniel. And I'm sure that you've seen, because you've been through police academies yourself, and then you work with police officers and sheriff's departments and police departments all over Metro Atlanta. This has to be something valuable for people like you, because you know that the people that you're interacting with on the bonding and monitoring side, that they're good folks, that they're trying to do what's best for their community.
Yeah, and we post a lot of juvenile bonds all throughout Metro Atlanta, have for the last 18 years. And I mean, hearing stuff like this, makes me really happy, because I think there's tremendous value in teen police academy, the whole thought process behind it, just because I go back to even my story as a kid when I thought I was, living in the Scarface movie or, whatever it was.
Right.
Having this kind of direction and guidance totally changes the perspective on what may be cool and not cool, right? Because at 13, 14, you think you know everything.
Yeah, you've seen it on TV.
Don't.
It's got to be real.
Right. And
or internet, I guess.
I'm
more
a big supporter of stuff like this.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're able to put it in real perspective. In the first segment, we were talking about just the regular Dunwoody Police Academy. Do y'all do the same situational kind of thing with the Teen Police Academy, where you do the split-second decision and then debate it out with jury and court? Because I think that is so valuable.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we don't limit them. We enjoy it, and we really like to see they go through the exact same use of force. It's like an hour-long sit-down PowerPoint presentation. Hey, this is the law. This is when you can use force. This is when you can't use force. These are, the different types of case laws that are out there and things like that. And then we put them in the same exact scenario-based training, and they're in the classroom. You got 14-year-olds that are jury members as well. Mm-hmm. And they're, based on what you've learned, just like police officers.
Apply the law.
We learn things at the police academy, and we have to follow the law. So based on what you've learned, how is this decision that's making? And the thing I like about the use of force scenario is that it could actually change based on the person's, like the operator of the system. If somebody is, he'll tell them, hey, talk to them, de-escalate the situation. And if they're not doing it, they could actually change the scenario to make that person become more aggressive or whatever the case might be.
It's fascinating.
And if they are talking to them and calming them down, then it could actually cause them to, raise their hand, say, okay, I'm sorry.
Surrender.
Right, exactly. So it's very beneficial, and these are things that, that's like the highlight of the academy. They really enjoy that, and they learn a lot.
I can only imagine, because kids are like sponges,
Right.
They don't know what they don't know for sure, but this is giving them just a complete view into what police officers do and deal with on a daily basis, and it gives them that new respect for, man, I don't know that I would have handled it the way that I thought I might have,
right,
until seeing it actually play out in front of me. Because we've all seen stuff on TV. We've all seen craziness on TV for sure. But it's very different than when it's in front of you and you have to make that split-second decision.
Exactly. And that's what we want them to see. When you're watching the news, you look at the body camera, you've had a chance to, really analyze what happened, what they did, things like that. Your Monday night quarterbacking it. It's different.
Always.
And you actually have the perspective of somebody telling the story versus you being first person in that story, right? Because somebody who's delivering the message on the news, whether it's an agenda or a point of view or a life experience, they're giving you their take on it versus you being in the moment having to make an unbiased or just a here's what I would do decision on a snap of a finger. It's so fascinating, and I can only imagine the kids' eyes are as big around as.
I mean, it can get stressful. I remember one scenario that was that brought back to my memory was there was a guy that was standing there with a knife in his hand, and the lady was trying to talk to the guy that was holding the knife, like, I need you to drop the knife, need you to drop the knife, need you to drop the knife, and he's not listening, and she's like, she doesn't know what to do next, so she's like, somebody call 911. And we're like, you are 911.
That's exactly right. Yeah. But what a great moment, Daniel. This is the perfect scenario for kids to learn what really happens in life. And I know you deal with it and see it daily in the business that you're in.
Yeah. We try to encourage, with the teen bonds that we post, the juvenile bonds, we try to, where we can, obviously because they're juveniles, there's only so much communication we can do. But when we do have the opportunity, it's so critical, man, because, that time period is really where people develop these life skills, and they could go, you're almost at a fork in the road, right? You're either going to go this way or you're going to go that way, or it could be a combination of the both. And if you can help that course, then,
foster it to take the right.
Then it's a victory.
Yeah, no, it is. I can only imagine that you see it as much as anybody. That kids that have there ever been kids in there that you were like, this kid's not going to take it serious, or they're, or whatever the scenario might be, and then your opinion changes because you see them engage so quickly and easily.
Oh, absolutely. One thing that we do at the end of the academy is we have a graduation ceremony where we have the mayor, the police chiefs.
Oh, nice.
Parents come and everything. We talk about the academy, and we have students just tell us about the academy, and most of them say that they didn't even really want to go. Their mom or their dad made them go.
Yep.
But as they continued through the program, they were so excited that they were able to be a part of it, and they really enjoyed it. And a lot of them say, can I come back next year? And we're like, nah, this is only once a year thing, because we got to give somebody else a chance to do it, or things like that. But, yeah, absolutely. There were a lot of them that the day one is always our toughest day.
Yeah. Eye rolls, and I'm not into it.
Do you guys take them at all to the DeKalb County Jail?
Yes, that's part of the there's another.
Because that's, I have been inside the DeKalb County Jail, not as a
not as a visitor,
not as a visitor,
or just as a visitor, not as somebody who's been incarcerated.
But that's a very intimidating experience. I mean, it's so I think that in itself, and that doesn't always work. I mean, they tried that with me growing up in Miami. I took a tour of the Dade County Jail in Miami, one of the Dade County. There's like 9 of them, but the main county jail. And I mean, I was like, what the heck is going on in here?
Yeah,
it was scary,
but it not enough to influence you.
Not enough, right? So when you take that experience though, and then coupled with some guidance in a teen police academy, and there you go, you have it, or a good shot at it.
Yeah. So some of the other things, you toured the police department, toured DeKalb County Jail, some of those things, police equipment. I would imagine those demonstrations are probably very popular.
Yes. So day one is. The first thing they do on day one is we have an orientation where, the mayor, the police chief, the command staff, they all come and just welcome the students. And like I said, that's the day that everybody's just kind of stiff.
Yeah.
They don't really say anything, so we try to break the ice, some games, things like that. And then we do a tour of the police department. This is when they really just start to, get out of their shells a little bit. We take them around to see, how the laser works that we have, the speed laser.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Right. We let them tour our crime scene lab.
That's got to be cool too.
Oh, right, exactly. So they'll see that. They'll go around to, our canines sometimes are there. They'll see the dogs.
That's got to be a huge. Exactly. That's got to be everybody's favorite day when you get to go see the dogs, right?
Right.
Gosh, man, that's my favorite. Every time we have somebody on to talk about. Anybody that gets to work with the canines, I'm immediately envious of, man, because those dogs are so awesome.
They love the dogs.
Yeah.
Kids love the dogs.
For sure. And they're so smart and so well trained, and they just, we don't deserve dogs. That's just my opinion. Dude, when it comes to life, we don't deserve dogs, but I understand why that presentation is big. Narcotics, too, though, and that's part of the canine presentation?
Yeah, so the canines, they do a canine demonstration. They have a weekly training that canines go through. And so each week they'll have like little boxes that they can put in certain places and see if the dog can find it. So
got it.
They'll actually do that in the classrooms. The dog won't be in there, and then we'll see the handler put, it's not real drugs, but it smells
probably
like
the
drugs.
Same scent. Yeah,
right. And they put it in certain places in the classroom, and the kids will watch the dog go and
Figure
search
it out.
for it and actually find it, no matter where it's hidden, or they may give it to one of the kids and say, hey, just go put this anywhere on that police car.
Yeah.
And then they'll have the dog go and
always
the
find
dog
it.
hits on it every time.
Because they're so amazing.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So impressive. That has to be number one. We went through the use of force thing, but firearm safety, and there's a simulator for that part too. So allow, I guess, teenagers to go through the same simulator that an officer would go through when it's a firearm.
Right. Well, that's the same.
It's all part of it.
Yeah, that's part of the simulator. And we also talk about firearm safety, and there are a lot of teenagers that unfortunately have misused firearms. They found it. They don't know how to operate it. So we want to make sure that they know that you can't be touching firearms if it's not you're not with an adult supervision, things like that.
Yeah, because I grew up going hunting, and it's funny because I don't it's probably not the best, but I had a gun rack in my bedroom my whole life.
Yeah.
And I mean shotguns, rifles, and my grandpa's revolvers. I never touched them ever. unless my dad was ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a discipline. It was understood. And I never challenged it. I don't think kids these days have as many of those boundaries, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
It's just a different time. And I think that being able to talk to kids about these things that they see on social media, that they see on TV, they see on the news, they see everywhere, it seems, getting that point of view that I had, that healthy respect that I had as a kid, growing up in the mountains of Northwest Georgia is different than growing up in Metro Atlanta. It's just different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so having that healthy respect, Daniel, I would imagine is something that maybe you could have used as a young man too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was a pretty hard case to crack, but I promote and encourage all of this stuff. Because
for sure.
It's
which is the reason we do this show. His background, his experience, and of course the business that he runs is the reason that we're here to begin with. And is because he cares about it much like you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that, just you even doing that, it's, having something for teenagers on your part and helping them go through what they got going on is definitely
because it comes down to it's like guilty by association, right? And I tell my kids this all the time. It's like okay, that's fine. You may not have had intention to do X, Y, and Z, but if you're driving in the car gets stopped, and there's X, Y, Z in the vehicle, guess what? Everybody's going to go, and then we're going to figure it out later. That's how it works. Well, then, you know what? Now you got to go through this whole process, which could screw up the rest of your life.
Yeah. And any
depending
plans?
On how serious, what's going on, with one person. Now 4 of you just got dragged into one person's BS.
And you have to have those conversations with kids, and I would imagine
it's real. It's real.
Absolutely it is. And I would imagine at Dunwoody Police Department, y'all are talking to these kids about that very same scenario.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so much. Teenagers they're getting involved with so many things that we didn't get involved with when we were younger.
To my point about having a gun rack in my bedroom,
right? I mean, even just social media alone.
That in itself is,
we didn't. I mean, yes, there was a little bit of internet stuff when I was a teenager, but it wasn't as much as it is now.
Now it's involved in everything you do.
Exactly.
Everything.
And there become, a lot of times we talk about fraud victims, and a lot of times they're elderly or foreigners and things like that. But no, there are a lot of teenagers
absolutely
that are falling victims of fraud and
clicking on the wrong link in their email.
Yep. That, I mean, even getting blackmailed.
Yeah.
Teenagers are going through that. We get calls about that all the time. So we try to get ahead of that as well. A lot of them being scammed for clicking on links and things like that. And so, a lot of them don't really talk to their parents about some of the decisions that they're making. So we try to tell them, hey, this is what we're seeing in the police department. You guys
should be talking to your parents.
Right. You need to be
talking
talking to
finding
parents
somebody that you trust and can have these serious conversations with, and it's usually not somebody your age.
Because their news media outlet is TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I swear to God,
Exactly.
if my kids tell me something about something new, I'm like, oh, where'd you find that out? TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, where'd you see that? TikTok.
Doesn't mean the information's good.
I'm like, this is wild, but that's the reality. I mean, that's where we're at right now.
Absolutely.
That's the news media for them.
That it literally is their headline. National news is TikTok. That's where 90% of them are subscribing to.
How scary is that for you though, as an officer that you, because that's a lot to combat. Because that you have a certain amount of time with these young folks that go through the Teen Police Academy. The rest of their, what is it, 2 hours? You said 2 hours a night?
Well, the Citizens Police Academy is 2 hours a night. The Teen Academy is it's about 6 to 7 hours per day. A week long.
Oh yeah, so it's more. So you have whatever that time is in total. The rest of their existence is being influenced by TikTok.
Right. Yeah, and that's
a big job. Is my point.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, we have to look at their future as well. So we try not to just limit the Teen Police Academy to just those 5 days. All right, you're gone. Bye. We don't care what you do now.
Clock it out.
Right. So Major Furman in Dunwoody Police Department, he actually started. This is actually before the Teen Police Academy. He started something called the Public Safety Cadets Program.
Okay.
And that is actually it's a work site based program for young men and women that have completed at least 8th grade. They have to be between the ages of 14 and 21. It's part of the National Public Safety Cadets Organization. And so what they do is they try to help participants gain interest into, the career of law enforcement, they have a lot of fun-filled, hands-on activities, and they promote growth and development, things like that. They actually meet weekly. This is on a continuous basis. It's not just. It doesn't just stop after.
Right. Is it almost
weeks.
like an ROTC a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's like it's a week long. They actually get a chance to compete in state and national scholarship competitions and things like that.
That's cool.
And so it's actually really good. And we've actually had a lot of police officers that came from like the cadets program. You know, we used to be called Explorers before.
Okay, I remember that. When I was growing up, it was Explorers.
Right,
I remember this.
And when Dunwoody started, it was the Explorers, and then
Okay.
we switched over to the cadets program. And we actually have police officers that work with us now that's been with us for like 10 years.
Wow.
That were a part of the Explorers program. And so we're trying to develop people into this career field.
That's awesome. We're going to continue on the Teen Police Academy as well as the cadets program in our final segment as we talk to Sergeant Anwar Sillah of the Dunwoody Police Department. Next on Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 and a second chance bail bonds are here to back your blue. Now back to the show on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3 with Daniel Mandelon of a second chance bail bonds and a second chance monitoring. And a second chance monitoring. That sometimes that tricks me up. I don't know why monitoring gets me, but it does. Also, Sergeant Anwar Sillah from the Dunwoody Police Department, who heads up the Teen Academy. You founded it, you created it, and you moved on, like as far as your career at the police department. But you stayed involved with this too because it means so much to you.
Absolutely.
I love that, man. There's just nothing better than reaching out to our youth and our teenagers because they're. To begin with, we've all been there. We all went through our teen years.
Yes.
It can be some awkward years. It can be some trying times. So to have that guiding light and that guiding principle with someone that they respect and that they know that they can rely on is so valuable. So congratulations on finding that passion for those youngsters.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do they get involved?
Oh, in the spring of every year, we announce it when it's going to be. It's a summer program, so we do it during the summer break. Normally sometime in either June or July. Mm-hmm. So around March or so, we'll announce it on social media and some of our other outlets, the City News, and we let our local school, high school, Dunwoody High School, know about it. And then we open up applications online. So they can just look on our website, dunwoodypolice.com, and then they can go look for community programs, and they'll see the link to the Teen Police Academy. And then that will have actually the date, and there'll be an online application form on there. Once they submit that, we'll review it and make sure they qualify. There are certain qualifications that you have to meet in order to be a part of the police academy, teen academy. Things like they have to be a resident of the city of Dunwoody initially. And if we have openings after a certain amount of weeks, then we'll open up to outside residents as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then what about the cadets program? Is it the same way to get involved? Similar?
Yeah, there's an application process with the cadets program as well. And then they have it's a different program. So they do things like criminal background checks and things like that, and yeah, it's pretty much the same concept. It's just a different application process.
Can folks find out about it on social media too? Because we're talking about the importance of social media for that generation. And I'm sure. Do you have those? Do you know the Dunwoody PD's handles for their social media? Oh
yeah, everything is at Dunwoody Police.
Okay.
For X, and for
Instagram.
Facebook it's Dunwoody Police Department. Yes, Instagram is still at Dunwoody Police, and then we do post all of our programs that we have upcoming on those
social
media
outlets.
outlets.
Yeah, no, it's so important to do, no doubt about it. Other community outreach programs, because I know this. I mean, obviously we covered two of the really important ones, but I bet there's a lot more.
Oh yeah, the police department, we try to find whatever way we can to get involved with our community members. There's a continuous efforts through our Coffee with a Cop program. We have Pizza with Police. How do
I sign up for that one? Count me in for Pizza with the Police.
Oh yeah, people love that, and we have such a supportive community. We have so many pizza restaurants that actually sponsor pizzas, that we give free pizza out to the community members and participants, things like that. We just got done with the See and Be Seen campaign.
Okay.
Which is it's for Halloween. We give these little blue lights to have our Dunwoody Police logo on it that kids can use to go as they go trick or treating, the flashes so that drivers
can see them. Yeah,
right. We have Christmas for Kids program that we do annually, National Night Out, and we also try to get kids involved. I'm sorry, not kids, yes, but more so adults.
Get folks involved
in our ride along program, so they can come and ride with us and see what kind of calls we go on.
See, now that's cool because I know some folks who've done that over the years, and sometimes it's a laid back night and you just kind of you're patrolling and then there's once in a while something pops up and people have the greatest stories about you would not believe this officer had to do this, that, the other thing, and I was sitting there and saw it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost like it's their own war story a little bit.
Oh yeah,
and they're able to tell that and share that. I would imagine people are really interested in the ride along program, huh?
Yeah. Oh, we get that very, very consistent. We get applications for the ride along program, and they now you may get that one night that it's just nothing. You're just sitting in the car, and you're like, oh, there's
it's just luck of the draw.
And then you get the next ride along person. They're just. Out there, like, oh my goodness!
Yes, exactly. What is going on? But Daniel, I know that's something that really is near and dear to your heart when you talk about the outreach stuff, because I know you sponsor so many different police departments and so many of those outreach programs specifically.
Yeah, it's a critical. It's important, man. It's an important issue that we need more of. Obviously, we do what we can with what we have, but it's definitely. The youth is where it all starts, and so
and which is why it's been so it's been so important to you, and so maybe going back through just a few more of the things that they'll do in the Teen Police Academy. I think we got through the firearm simulator, crime scene investigation, the rollover simulator, the seatbelt convincer. What in the world's that?
So the state of Georgia has like a community program as well as through the governor's office of highway safety, and they have a community program where they have like this pickup truck that comes on the back of a flatbed, and they would actually bring it to demonstrate what happens if you're involved in a crash and you don't have your seatbelt on. So they have like a dummy sitting in the driver's seat or passenger seat or whatever the case might be, and they actually roll this truck around, and you actually see the dummy flying out the window, and it's like
how it happens.
This is exactly what happens. Yes, if you don't wear your seatbelt and you go rolling on 25, you're gonna be ejected from that vehicle.
It's gonna be a tough day,
right? So a lot of times with teenagers, they're
invincible,
right? They are very right. They need to see something in order to believe it, and so and then the seatbelt convincer is similar to that. It's like a really slow roller coaster. But it does. You actually put your seatbelt on, and they actually allow it to go on a slight downhill incline, and then it stops suddenly, and they'll actually be able to feel how it stopped them from
going through the window or something, going through the windshield.
Exactly.
SWAT team presentation seems like it would be great. The tour of the GBI seems cool.
Right. Yep. That's another field trip that kids do. They go out to the GBI, and they are able to talk to the crime scene technicians and the agents they have down there. It's a really, really, really amazing time that they do down at the GBI. It's awesome.
Only because this is something that happened in downtown Atlanta recently, the active shooter events, the civilian response to active shooter. Do you want to go through that?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing they do on day one is, with all of the active shooter situations that we've been facing, especially with high schools. We just had one recently here in the state of Georgia. Yeah. We want to get the kids to not only look at it as being afraid, but how can you prepare for it if it happens in your school or your church or the restaurant, whatever the case might be. So it's like a 2-hour segment of how to react to those type of situations.
Goodness, such valuable information. And we'll end on this one, which is brand new, the police helicopter visit and demo.
Yeah.
Count me in for that. That sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, we just started that this year. This is the first year that we did it. We go down to DeKalb County Police Department and their aviation unit, and they actually give us a really good demonstration of the police helicopter, what they do, what type of calls they respond to. They allow the kids to look at the helicopter. They can't ride in it, but they get a chance to look at it and they see them take off and land. And
so cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
I would imagine that would be a good recruiting tool as well.
Absolutely.
And I just applaud you, Sergeant Sillah. This is a great program, and you can tell that your passion is there for it and for the youth in our community. Thank you so much for taking the time to come over and explain it to folks. But more than that, just the fact that you care so much, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that part.
Well, I appreciate you all even just hosting this type of program. We want to get the word out, and there's not many outlets that we can use to do that other than just law enforcement outlets. So you all are, doing this and getting the word out. And we really appreciate it. You're
always welcome here, Daniel. Thank you so much for putting this together and the reason that we do Back Your Blue every day. That'll do it for us. We hope you have a great day.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app.
My friends, well, you might say they're a little different. We know how to have a good time, sure, but together, what we get is beyond just that. Los Landeros is the tequila that fits, that works for those times we have. The times that take fun and friendship and go beyond. Give it a try. Los Landeros Tequila. I keep an eye out for that sculpted bottle. It's as beautiful on the outside as on the inside. Kinda like my friends. Los Landeros Tequila. When it's time to go beyond.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where this weekend we're inviting you to our Takori holiday event, where you can shop an extended collection of engagement rings, wedding bands, and new fashion jewelry, all handcrafted in the USA. They're fully customizable, so you can try on all your options and have your dream ring handcrafted in time for a holiday proposal. You can get up to 24 months 0% APR financing, or up to $1,000 back in Amex gift cards. Only at D. Geller & Son in Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
Hey sandwich lovers, today's your lucky day. There's a whole new way to roll for lunch or dinner delight with Nucky's Hoagies in the Roswell Corners Shopping Center. Now open. Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell is family owned and operated by the Sub-Sisters, Stacy and Shannon, whose love language is food and Nucky's Hoagies, their passion. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagie, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, along with hunger-quenching sandwich combinations. Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner.